I mean, lots of stuff. I made lots of videos on this, like the medals that they give out, at the White House and stuff like that. I mean, actually nowadays, like I forget the uh, the little things did mean something anyway though. But all the medals they give out the White House when here's a medal, like I say, Nixon showed up, wanted to have all these medals given to him, and he tried to say that he was all this stuff and all that stuff, and like I said, they checked his record, and you know he like if you go back 10 years, you'll see how Nixon's saying how he's such a big war hero and he fought for his country and did this and did that. That's how he actually came to power. And realistically, like I say, it was all a lie. Like I say, like 50 years ago, the whole world found out how all the senators, all the congressmen, and all the whole White House was just a big fucking lie. Like Nixon they had killed so many people and they had covered it up and there were so many deaths and I mean it was all exposed like 50 years ago. How the JFK thing, Nixon, like it just went, and realistically Nixon went to jail or would have gone to jail. He almost got killed. China wanted to kill him. And they probably should have. I mean they had done lots of horrible things. And like I say, I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And realistically, like I say, Nixon was the guy who threw, or JFK was the one. There's video of JFK, hidden video of JFK, basically throwing people into the printing press at the U.S. Mint, at the American Mint, Treasury Mint. He just takes a person, tosses them right into the Treasury Mint. We had people with hidden cameras recording the whole thing. A lot of people thought that you needed to always be cranking the camera in order to get a video. Like I said, Nixon, JFK, all of them, they thought that you'd have to crank, so you'd have to have your hand in your pocket cranking it, because that's the way it used to be. But we had new batteries, so we were able to just shh. Not even that loud noise would do. So we actually have film of pretty much of Nixon or JFK. He used to do it as JFK, and then he did it as Nixon, basically tossing people into the Treasury Mint. He took the manager of the American Treasury and basically threw him into the machine. So took a lot of people and threw them. I don't know what the deal is about throwing someone into the U.S. Treasury Mint. Well, it was a paper. It was also the newspaper. It printed the money like every Thursday or something like that, and the newspaper like during the week or something like that. And I think he wanted the plates or something, and the guy wouldn't give him the plates because he didn't have the plates. Like I said, the plates were held in Germany. Germany would send the plates in or over. They weren't at the building. So he wanted the plates, but he couldn't get the plates because the plates weren't there. So he tossed the guy into the printing press. It's so crazy. It's like, anyways, because he had killed everyone, and or broken past the guards, killed people, and then he had gotten there, and then he couldn't get the plates. They weren't there. They weren't the building. They were somewhere else. And so he tossed the manager into the thing until they dropped off the plates. And he was actually he was down to he only had three hostages or two hostages. So he tossed two people into the printing press and never got the plates. Or saying I had to run away. I forget exactly what the deal was. I mean, Nixon or JFK did a lot of really bad stuff. He only had like 30 or 60 guys with high-powered rifles or machine guns. Like there was no mobsters. There was just JFK and Nixon and John McCain. And they just made sure that certain people in certain towns didn't have anything close to what they had. Tried to anyway. We still, mostly it was just hit and run tactics. They wouldn't stay there more than 30 minutes, and it's hard to get anywhere in 20 minutes. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. You have to dig through the details to find it all. Anyway, lots of lies, lots of printing of money, lots of stupidity, lots of drugs. Like I say, the last big epic drug dealer, that was one of my ships. Like the last big drug dealer was in Germany, and basically like he was a big drug dealer. We took the ship and went right up, and then blew away a bunch of tanks and stuff like that. At least I think it was. So either that or they were actually killing one of my people, but I don't think so. Because they were holding the Germans hostage inside of that complex. It was a stronghold, and the guy had moved in there, and was basically holding a bunch of people hostage or whatever. And that's what the one German had the map of the defenses, and he was going down there to give it to the soldier. That was because he was the manager. He was allowed the grounds use or whatever. He could wander around because he was an engineer. So he knew where all the defenses were, and this one drug dealer or this one guy that was an opium dealer was holding all these Germans hostage. So the guy was going down to meet the soldiers to give them the map so they wouldn't get killed, so they could get the hostages. And I think they accidentally shot him. They weren't supposed to. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just reported it as him dying, because we did that a lot. There's a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, we're going to have to report his death though, and make it look like he died, because otherwise they're going to be after him, because they're going to know because they knew who he was. So we'll just hide them. So maybe he actually lived past that point. But I told them, I was like, the guy's going down there to meet you and give you the map so you can get to the hostages, because he was allowed to wander around the grounds. So he had two, and they knew they had two security guys with him. So they're supposed to go and keep the German alive, because the German was one of the hostages. So, but he could wander around the grounds because he was building the defenses for the hostage takers. They had taken them hostage like a year or two before, and we had finally found this location. It was one of my old stronghold buildings, so we were going up in there to save them. And I think that we got them all out, because anyway, like I said, after we got the hostages out, we just shelled the stronghold. It was a big long battle. It was really good. I was like, okay, the guy's going down there to meet you. So, and we relayed the radio message and everything. Like, it was very careful. Like, I was epic savior. So, and I was saving my Germans. I love them. So anyway, so after we got the hostage, it was a hostage rescue. That's what that was. You know, they had the black people or whoever was driving the Panzers down, and they had like 150 Panzers right there, or at the beach, and they're shelling, they're expecting normal attack, like I say. And like I say, we just right through the defenses, and just because I took one of my big ships right up in there. They had 12-inch guns, I believe, the 12-inch guns, and just went up on the beach, and then we just aimed down the road, and yeah, I loved it. Lucifer LS, Semi Rescues. It's like, and the soldiers were even saying, the battleship's right there. We're getting out right here, and it's like, like they said it was deafening, and the explosive almost reached the shore, like, and I think they said 3 tanks vaporized, or at least one tank just basically was gone when the ship, because you're firing one of those big shells right down the road. So it's like ting ting ting, just like right. It was like right point blank into a tank. It's like, yeah, I love it. I was jazzed. I was like, yes. And even the soldiers were like, okay, this is cool, because the ship was right. Like, you didn't have to aim hardly. You just went. It was like battleship versus tank. Reload. They said in 30 minutes the battle was basically over, because the tanks were right there, the battleship was right there, and it was battleship versus tanks, and they didn't expect that.